Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Waking Up with Richie. Now, I found some crazy events to share with you guys this week, and I also have some bonus footage to share with you at the end of this video, so definitely stay tuned for that. Also, Lucky decided to join me for this video, which, that's awesome. Oh, he heard his name. I got a haircut, I'm feeling good, and I'm in a great mood. I hope you guys are too. Let's get right into the current events. So the first current event that I wanted to talk to you guys about has to do with Lil Nas X and his new shoes that he came out with that are very satanic in nature. So Nike has filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against New York-based company Mischief over the controversial Satan shoes that Lil Nas X has been promoting heavily after the drop of his most recent song, Montero, Call Me By Your Name. The shoes are based off of Nike's trademark Air Max 97 design, and I'll attach a photo right here to show you guys what they look like. Nike has said in a public statement that they are not attached to the Satan shoe and they were not involved in any part of the creation process of this shoe. A lot of people on social media have come out and expressed the discomfort that this has caused and the disappointment in Nike prior to this lawsuit being publicized, because people were thinking that Nike was openly promoting this satanic energy in their shoes to people. And if you guys know, Nike, everybody has a pair of Nikes. I mean, let's be real, even children. So I think they were starting to receive a lot of backlash, but this is allegedly. And I think that's what forced them to come out with this lawsuit and publicize it. Now, the shoes contain a drop of human blood in the sole, and they went for sale on Monday for $1,018 per pair. And there was only 666 pairs available of the shoe, and they sold out in under a minute. They are decorated with satanic symbolism such as a pentagram and a Bible verse, Luke 10:18. Hence why they were sold for $1,018. So everything around this shoe has seemed to come off in a very symbolic way, in a very planned way, which is a little bit uncomfortable for a lot of people. Now, if you haven't seen Lil Nas X's music video for Montero, Call Me By Your Name, I definitely suggest watching that video because you'll be able to understand a lot more where I'm coming from about this current event. Basically, Luke 10:18 is a verse in the Bible, and that verse says, "And he said unto them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." And it's very clear that that was a message in the video that Lil Nas X posted to YouTube. It has millions and millions of views by now, and children have seen it, grown adults have seen it, everybody's seen it basically. It's been all over the media and everything, and it's definitely been controversial, and it really has not been putting Lil Nas X in the greatest light. Lil Nas X has been named as a defendant in Nike's lawsuit, so he's not off the hook. So Nike told Fox Business, "We don't have further details to share on pending legal matters. However, we can tell you we don't have a relationship with Lil Nas X or Mischief. The Satan shoes were produced without Nike's approval or authorization, and Nike is in no way connected with this project." And that's, I find this strange because when I first saw the picture of Lil Nas X on Twitter promoting these shoes, he didn't let us know that Nike had no part in the creation of those shoes. He just was kind of just going with it. And nowadays, with social media and the power of influence, that can be extremely damaging to any company or brand. And I agree with Nike in this decision because personally, I didn't enjoy the music video that Lil Nas X recently dropped, which goes hand in hand with these shoes. I didn't relate to the video. I didn't really see the message of the video. It was kind of in your face. It wasn't really like symbolic. It was just like you saw all the symbols right in your face of what he was trying to say to people. I don't like being connected to that as a gay man. I don't like when other people try to connect the LGBT culture to dark energy like that. I don't agree with it. But I want to know what you guys think about this, because it's definitely stirred up a lot of emotions, especially within the gay community. And I also don't really agree with the way that Lil Nas X has been acting on Twitter. He's really been trolling a lot of people that have asked him, like, why did you do this? And even, you know, media companies that have been writing articles about him, he's just trying to like laugh it off like it's not a huge thing. In my opinion, this is a huge thing, because the majority of his audience is very young, in their teens. When you're seeing symbolism like that and just imagery like that when you're that young and not really in the real world yet, you start to kind of gravitate towards that type of energy, and you start to want the types of things that he has. And it's like when a young person is watching that, they expect like, oh, let me start worshiping Satan and then I'll get to where he is. It almost seems like an agenda to me, and I'm just not here for it. I know there's some YouTubers that are definitely here for the video and love what it represents and how different it is. This current event is about him being sued by Nike, because Nike wants no parts of this. Nike is not proud of this. They don't want to be connected to this, and I hope justice is served, because put yourself in Nike's shoes. You know, like, some person comes out of nowhere and just creates this shoe illegally and sells 666 pairs. They're not making the shoe from the ground up. They're obviously buying the shoe wholesale and then creating it and modifying it to be what it is as the Satan shoe. And I just think that this is not going to end very good for Lil Nas X. Hopefully he learns his lesson, but I know he's young. I think he's younger than me. Yeah, so he's 21, I'm 22. And even when I'm 22 right now, I have to play the devil's advocate a little bit in this one, because I remember when I was 21, honestly, that was the best year of my life. I had so much fun. I just wanted to have fun. That's really all that was on my agenda when I was 21. And I'm about to be 23 in another month, but yeah, hopefully he learns from this, because he's trying to be more famous than he is right now, and doing stuff like this for the shock value is not gonna help. Because it's like, okay, what's gonna be next? What are you gonna do now? Run around in a neon green Speedo in public? You know, it's just like, how do you keep working off of that? So let's move on to the next current event. Be sure to let me know what you guys think about that, because it just weirded me out, honestly. I used to like him. I really did. I liked Old Town Road, and I liked Panini, which is another one of his songs. And he just really hasn't been consistent with the music that he puts out. It's like, okay, he puts out a song here, and then 9 months later, another song, 6 months later, another. It's just not consistent. So maybe he can focus on that instead of resorting to the shock value in order to make people want to know more about him and buy what he's selling. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next current event that I want to talk about has to do with the state of New York. So the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, has signed legislation legalizing recreational marijuana use. Who ever saw this coming? I mean, most people thought New York would be the last on the list to approve this. Now, this only legalizes recreational marijuana use for those that are 21 years and older, so it's basically like alcohol when it comes to that. The new law expunges marijuana convictions for possession that would now be legal under state law. 40% of tax revenue from recreational marijuana purchases will be directed to communities of color that disproportionately faced weed charges, which I think is great, because New York City is known to be very grouped. There's a lot of different ethnicities that live in certain areas, and they tend to stay in those areas. And historically, these more ethnic areas have faced a lot of prejudice. So I think this is a great thing for those communities who have faced that head on, and I totally agree with this. Legal marijuana use has been talked about in New York's legislature for years. The state Senate and Assembly both approved the legislation on Tuesday, this past Tuesday. So New York is now the 15th state to legalize recreational marijuana. Purchases will include a 13% sales tax, which is very high. So purchases also include a 13% sales tax, which is actually lower than the 16% sales tax that Arizona requires recreational users to pay. This legislation immediately legalizes possession of up to 3 ounces of cannabis or 24 grams of concentrates. Pot smoking is also permitted in most places that allow cigarette smoking. So it seems like they're actually very lenient with this immediately, even more so than Arizona is. And Arizona, if you don't know, just legalized recreational marijuana in January. The Office of Cannabis Management will be in charge of regulating this new industry. Cuomo also said that this industry could create 30,000 to 60,000 new jobs in the state, which, I mean, who doesn't love new jobs? That's always amazing for any economy. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, also projects that this will generate $350 million in tax revenue. Congrats, New York. This is awesome news. I know there's tons of people that live there that are probably jumping for joy. But that's great. And it's time. It's time for this to be happening. So what do you guys think about that? Let's go ahead and move on to the next current event. Okay, so I was a little bit hesitant to talk about this next current event because I didn't want my video to be flagged or my channel to be flagged in any type of way. So I'm gonna try to graze over the really graphic details of this next current event. So, do you guys know who Armie Hammer is? He is a extremely attractive man, and he also starred in a very popular movie within the gay community, at least. And this movie was called Call Me By Your Name. Armie Hammer has been dropped from yet another film in wake of the allegations from his former girlfriends and accusers. So he is no longer attached to the up-and-coming thriller Billion Dollar Spy. He was set to star as Mads Mikkelsen in the Cold War drama. Billion Dollar Spy was the last remaining film on his slate, and that basically means that he has no work right now on his calendar. Every other studio has officially cut ties with him after learning of his allegations. He's also been investigated by LAPD over some very horrible allegations. Now, if you don't remember, Armie Hammer starred in Call Me By Your Name as Oliver, and this is one of his most notable works. Many people have seen this movie. He did an amazing job. He's a very talented actor, I must admit that. I'm not going to take that away from him at all. And of course, he's also very attractive. Now, if you guys are getting a little bit frustrated because I'm not going into depth with what he's being accused of, please just Google him because there is so many articles about him online. And you should definitely look into it because it is jarring information. The filmmaker of Call Me By Your Name and other actors that starred in the movie have expressed their desire for a sequel in numerous interviews, but that is just suspended in the air right now due to his allegations, and it's sad. I would love to see a sequel to Call Me By Your Name. Now, Armie Hammer has also been fired from 2 other major productions, such as Shotgun Wedding, a romantic comedy where he would be starring alongside Jennifer Lopez, along with Paramount's The Offer, which is a series about the making of The Godfather. Controversial allegations against Armie Hammer surfaced in January 2021 after the anonymous Instagram account House of Effie was posting screenshots to that Instagram account of conversations that she had with Armie Hammer. And he was very graphic about his fantasies and the things that he has done in his past and that he hopes to do in his future. Some of these fantasies involved cannibalism and other very disturbing motives. So this is not something to just take lightly because there's obviously something going on, and you know, when you start talking about things so far-fetched as that, you really want to kind of nip something in the bud before it happens. I have no issue with anybody having a kink or anything like that behind closed doors, but if you're making people feel uncomfortable and scared, or if their life is in danger even, then that should definitely be brought to attention. So that is all of the current events that I had for you guys today. Please let me know what you thought about them. Which one stood out to you most? Because that Lil Nas X event is probably the one that stood out to me the most. I think the video would have been perceived a little bit better if he didn't just put everything so obviously into the video, and he just kept things a little bit more symbolic and more questions unanswered. But if you watch the video, I mean, it's just like, it's almost like it was made for kids, you know, because it's just so obvious. Anyway, now I'm gonna show you guys the final segment of this video where I reconnected with an old friend and we just decided to get out and enjoy the good old sunshine yesterday. So let me know what you guys thought about this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the final segment. Got my Chatterbait glasses on, you know, representing. Yeah, my little like cheap $1 sunglasses. Such a beautiful day. What?
No, I'm saying I think when they had the gold rush back in the day, when a lot of people were coming from China, I think they were coming here too.
That makes sense. Imagine how hot that thing gets though in the summer. Like, scorching. So yeah, I've reconnected with Zach, and it feels great to be back with him, honestly. We hadn't seen each other for like over 6 months, I think it was. Half a year or more. But yeah, we're just getting out and enjoying some of the sunshine, and
before it gets too hot to do this in a few months.
Exactly. Because the thing about Arizona is once this weather starts happening, you know that it's gonna get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. We're gonna keep riding. I hope you guys are enjoying some of this footage.